There, I don't never do that again. I'm retired. I have a great It was so loud. I can't even imagine how loud it was.
This is unusual that I get to call the meeting to order. If we could have roll call, Jenny.
Here.
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 Mrs. Stein.
Here.
Mr. Conrad.
Here.
And Mrs. Falk.
Here.
Now, since I've been on the job, Frances Bowen has been president, and in her role, she's called the meeting to order each time that I've been here and called on someone else to lead us in the saying of the pledge. I'm going to turn things around since I get to call the meeting to order, Frances, and ask if you would please join us in the saying of the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I think our next item then is we have the oath of office for a newly elected board member.
Members. So, Jill and Dale, would you stand? And raise your right hand. And then repeat after me, please. So, I, please state your name,
I, Dale Yakitis,
having been elected
to
the office of school board member,
the office of school board member,
swear that I will support
swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially discharge
and will faithfully and impartially discharge
the duties of said office
the duties of said office
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Welcome to the board.
Some of those phrases are kind of long for an old guy to
Well, I
remember.
have a question.
Guys my age.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the election of officers. Wisconsin State Statute 120.14 requires that a unified school district annually elect from its membership the following officers: school board president, school board vice president, school district treasurer, and school district clerk. This is an action item. And the process begins with the election of the position of president.
Okay, so we have those really nice fancy ballots in front of us. So the first ballot is the nomination ballot to determine slate candidates for the office of president. Frances Bohan, Dale Yakitis, Frances Bohan, Mark Doherty, and Frances Bohan. So we'll go back to those, try another nomination ballot for the office of president. Yeah, for president, we have Frances Bohan. Frances Bohan. Frances Bohan. Frances Bohan. Mark Doherty, and Dale Yakitis. So we will try that again. Frances. 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 Mark. Frances. And Frances. So between Frances and Mark, we will vote for the office of president. Okay, for the office of president, Frances.
hand the gavel over to the board president.
And she's settled in. The next nomination ballot will be to try to select candidates for the office of vice president. Vice president. We have Mark Ferrari. Mark Ferrari. Mark Ferrari. Delia Kaitis. Delia Kaitis. And Dale. So between Dale and Mark for the office of vice president. Okay, for the office of vice president, we have Dale, 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 Mark, and Mark. So Dale is our vice president. Okay, nomination ballot for the office of treasurer.
Stuck together, sorry.
Slated candidates for the office of treasurer. We have Mark Conradi, Mark Conradi, Karen, Mark, Mark, and Mark. So between Mark and Karen for the office of treasurer.
I don't understand why we're voting so often if we had a majority. We had a majority. I don't understand why we're continuing to vote.
You have to
nomination.
have a nomination.
Ballot.
We have to have, we have to have, okay, got it.
Unless it's
Okay.
That come
unanimous.
out of the
Okay, you
nomination.
have to go and then do, okay.
So for the office of treasurer, we have Karen, Mark, 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 and Mark. So Mark is our treasurer. All right, nomination ballot for the office of clerk. All right, nomination ballot for the office of clerk. Sam, Karen, Sam, 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 and Karen. So between Karen and Sam for the office of clerk. The office of clerk, Sam, Karen, Sam, Karen, and Sam. So Sam, you're our clerk.
Practice your autograph.
I know.
I've watched you over this year.
And Jenny is always professional, so that brings us right into the next topic on the agenda, which is the selection of school board secretary who need not be a member of the board, which is the role that Jenny Haig has been fulfilling. So do I have a motion to nominate someone for the position of school board secretary?
I move that Jenny Haig is the school board secretary.
Second.
Thank you. You second. So, any discussion? Okay, then will you take the roll?
Sure. Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Thank you very much. And next, we have the consent agenda, approval of minutes from the special meeting held on April 8th, 2019. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Yes. Second.
Okay, thank you, Mark and Sam. Any discussion? Then we'll go ahead and take the roll.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Abstain.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Abstain.
And next, we have approval of the minutes from the regular meeting held on April 10th of 2019. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Sam and Mark. Any discussion? Then we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Abstain.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Abstain.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Okay, then we have approval of accounts for the month of April. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Dale. Then we'll go ahead and take the roll.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any communications from the public?
I did not receive any pink sheets.
We do have a correspondence file, and I'll go ahead and pass that. And any announcements?
Yes, we
Dr. Christensen?
yes, we have a very important announcement. We want to take this opportunity to extend our great appreciation to our entire teaching staff across the entire school district, as this is National Teacher Appreciation Week, and yesterday was National Teacher Appreciation Day. So on behalf of the board, our entire administrative team, we again just want to extend a big thank you to our entire teaching staff. Thank you.
Everybody on the board, I know, echoes that, because that's where the rubber meets the road, and that's where the kids learn, and that's where people connect. So thank you so much. And next we have the recognitions. The first one on the list is the Smart Team Research Group.
And I think Amy Fassler's here.
And I'm kind of representing all my students because it's AP testing week, and they're all pretty busy. So this is about the only time they work for us. I'll just take a minute. I will introduce them. I really just wanted my students to be recognized, and thank you for all the support that the school board and the district in general gives us. So very quickly, our research group works with the Milwaukee School of Engineering. We are one of probably about 20 smart teams throughout the country that work with a mentor. Our mentor this year was at UW-Madison. We worked with a cell membrane protein, an integrin protein that works with a pathway to impact interocular fluid in the eye and damage to the optic nerve that leads to glaucoma. So the students sort of tell the story of this protein, and then they use computer software to model it. And the Milwaukee School of Engineering prints the 3D model of their protein for them. And then if you want to go to the next slide, I just have a couple. My students that this year we had a team of 6. I have 4 rising freshmen that will be heading off to school next year. Kyle Schultz, going to the University of Minnesota, majoring in biochemistry. Nikita Ganagunta going to UW-Madison, neurobiology, pre-med. Suhaspat is attending Harvard University, I think math and physics. I hear a lot of different ideas. And Hugh Steiner, economics and biochemistry at UW-Madison. Two of the returning researchers are Ariel Fernandez and Tarabat. And then the students actually get to go and present their research at the Experimental Biology Conference, which was in Orlando this year. So there they are, the smart teams that are able to attend and present at the research conference are part of an undergraduate poster session. They are able to attend that international conference, and so they heard fabulous lectures on cancer research and CRISPR gene therapy. They have another presentation coming up next week at the Science on Tap at Up and Above the Pub. This is our third year that we'll be presenting there to wrap up the science lecture series. So if you'd like to join us, we encourage you. You can come a little early and get something to eat. And then they have a noon lunch and research seminar presentation at the Research Foundation. So thanks a lot for letting me just take this opportunity to recognize the outstanding work that they do. The mentor that they worked with at UW-Madison said she has graduate students that didn't understand some of the pathways that they did. So they worked very, very hard. And then there's a copy of the poster that they did, and their protein is in the center here. So this is what their 3D protein looks like. Thank you very much.
Amy, how many years have you been doing the research?
This is our 7th year, 8th year. Yeah, and all of a sudden they kind of start adding up very quickly.
Thank you so much,
yeah.
because you made it possible, and this was your brainchild back then.
Yeah, well, the MSOE trains teachers to run the program, so I attended their training. And yeah, it's great.
Thank you.
Great opportunity. Thank you.
That's one of the teachers we get to recognize during Teacher Appreciation Week. And then next we have the Marshfield High School Gymnastics Program.
Well, we did have them listed, but we had a change in programming that they were not able to make it, I believe, correct? So
okay, so another time we will have to do that.
we're going to try again next month. So
We have to clear space for our demonstration.
it'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Okay, then we will move on to staff reports, and Dr. Christensen.
Yeah, well, I've got some items to review here. The beginning one, our first item is on the order of another recognition. We did want to take some time to speak to our students' recent participation in Science Bowl. 64 regional high school winners attended the Department of Energy National Science Bowl in Washington, D.C. back in April, just a short while ago. And that, of course, included our very own Marshfield High School team. 3 of the Marshfield High School team's games went down to the very last question. Unfortunately, the Tiger team came up short on 2 of them. They ended the day with a 4-3 record, but failed to advance to the 16-team double elimination bracket. A Midwest team did prevail, though. It's my understanding that Wayzata, Minnesota, I believe, went on to win the high school division. In addition to academic competition, students had the opportunity to attend presentations by well-known scientists on current topics in math and the sciences. They also had time for a night tour of the monuments in Washington, D.C., as well as a day tour to explore the many monuments, including the National Mall. Some of these names are going to be familiar to what we just spoke to with Amy's presentation, but we do want to recognize team members Davis Renz, Tara Bott, Hugh Steiner, Suhas Bott, Carter Chinaki, and then of course our 2 coaches, Dean McFarland and Paula Herder. So again, a big congratulations to our Marshfield Tiger team on the Science Bowl competition. We did want to take a moment to recognize that our international program just wrapped up today, an elementary school camp. We had some visitors from China here. Lincoln and Madison elementary schools have been hosting 4th and 5th grade students from China. The Chinese students were paired with an American buddy and have been attending classes during the day and experiencing American culture and activities in the evening. The program was a great success and a great cultural experience for everybody that was involved. And again, today that program came to a close. I see Tiffany is here, one of the principals that's been working with hosting, and I believe it wrapped up today and the students are on their way back home, correct?
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
Yes, all done. It was really fun.
All right,
Great
but we really thank the staff and our administration at both Lincoln and Madison Elementary Schools for hosting the Chinese students for this camp. And then finally, I've got a rundown of upcoming events. May is the busiest time of year because we're coming to a close of the school year. I did want to identify the following upcoming events. The Senior Sports Award Night will be held May 22nd at 7 p.m. in the high school auditorium. We will recognize all lettering seniors, academic all-conference, and WIAA student-athlete winners. The public is invited to attend that event. Marshfield Middle School will be holding a ribbon-cutting ceremony for their literacy garden. Mike Nixnick and his staff have put in a tremendous amount of work to pull off that project. I know that event is intended to recognize donors, and the public is invited to attend that event as well. And Friday, May 24th at 2 p.m. At the Literacy Garden at the middle school. Project Search graduation will be held on Friday, May 24th at 11 a.m. and that will be held at the Marshfield Medical Center. The alternative school graduation ceremony will be held on Wednesday, May 29th at 11 a.m. And Mr. David Reagan, I believe that's going to be held right at the YMCA where the school is located this year. Is that correct? That's right, at the YMCA. The Marshfield High School Scholarship Program will be held Wednesday, May 29th at 7 p.m. in the high school auditorium. Friends and family are welcome to attend. That is open to the public as well. And then finally, but certainly not least, our high school graduation ceremony for Marshfield Senior High will be Sunday, June 2nd at 11 a.m. in the Marshfield Senior High Lowe's & Company Fieldhouse. Again, we're very much looking forward to that graduation ceremony for the class of 2019.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is a busy one. We will move on to gifts and donations district. And I'm sorry, I'm pushing it and it's not coming.
I've got a list in here if you want to look for mine, Francis.
My finger is not doing it. Okay, sorry about that. We have a number of gifts that the board may consider for acceptance. The first one is $100 from Fisher Landscaping for the 6th grade Leadership Day at Wildwood Zoo in May. A 1999 Ford Expedition valued at $1,000 for the high school automotive program from Gordy Burr. Plastic report covers valued at $150 from Kevin Creason. Marshfield Athletic Complex donations in the amount of $1,000 each from Marley Bozen, Roberta DeVetter, in recognition of Mary Ousley, Amber Kiggins Lifeheight, Joan Chong, Kim Ziembo, and Anonymous. So, thank you. And Lincoln Elementary has a number of gifts, $20 from Judith Gadke, $200 from Hyan Nguyen, toys for the school store valued at $80 from Eric Bennett, and $4,203.35 from Cornerstone Community Church. What is your pleasure?
To accept with great thanks.
In a second? Second by Sam. Okay. So we have a motion to accept with great thanks, and we'll go ahead and take the roll.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Dr. Wallach?
Yes.
Mr. Yuka?
Yes, always.
Steiner?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Okay, then we will move on to Finance Committee. Mark, would you like to?
Okay.
Or Dale?
Give me
I'm sorry.
just a second. I got to back up on my computer here.
I knew that.
Okay, here we go. First of all, we had the presentation of monthly bills that includes all the checks basically that are written for everything from teacher requests and supplies, everything basically in the district. So that was presented to us by Mr. Saucerman. And then we had a presentation of a food service budget. We'll have an item coming up in another agenda regarding school lunch prices, so I will wait on that. But we also had some good news. There has been an increase in the number of students who are taking the daily meals in our school district. And we also had a chance to look at, in the next item, presentation of human resources budget, taking a look at items. There's a 5-year plan in which that department looks at replacement items, and I think top near the list is a new milk cooler, and I forgot there were a couple of other items. I could look them up on here, but a couple of other just general replacement items. I think the point I want to make here is that, once again, just as we do in maintenance, we have a 5-year replacement plan, so these things are looked at, and of course, unless there's some sort of an emergency somewhere along the line that has to be dealt with. So that was presented to us as well. Human resources budget was also presented, and there were some software purchases that needed to be made, and last year that now we're more into a maintenance and licensing, and there was quite a savings over last year in our human resources budget to the tune of, in that area, of $20-some thousand alone. So that budget is coming under budget of almost $39,000 roughly for this next year. Nicole, correct on that? So those are, anytime we see decreases in things, that's always a good news. Discussion of summer, did I go past the increase in lunch prices? Yeah, I did. I jumped right past it. Discussion of school lunch prices. In doing that, the price increase is recommended for the start of 2019-2020 school year. The price increase covers the costs of general inflation, food, supplies, benefits, and salaries. Now, it's important to know that there's a lot of control by the DPI here. They also require that all districts increase at least 10 cents per year until our average meal cost matches the difference between the federal free and the federal paid lunch reimbursement rate. According to the Paid Lunch Equity Report, we are required to increase our average to $2.80, which is the reason for the suggested lunch price increase. This will be an action item tonight. And the basic increases include for breakfast a 5-cent increase at the high school and middle school. Otherwise, breakfast for breakfast prices, there are no other changes for the elementary or for adult costs or the 40-cent milk cost. That will remain the same. There has been an increase, a slight increase in the lunch cost from $3.55 for adult to $3.75, to be part of the approval tonight. Reduced lunches, no change. Elementary goes up 10 cents from $2.60 to $2.70. The high school, the middle school goes from $2.75 to $2.80. And the high school goes from $2.90 to $3. We're looking at 10 cents increases in some of those categories. So on behalf of the Finance Committee tonight, I would approve the increases in school lunch payments.
So we have a motion from the Finance Committee to approve the increases that Dale just gave us, because there were a number of them. And is there any discussion, any questions? Then we'll go ahead and take the roll.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Dr. Zavala?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Next item, we had a discussion of some summer school and extracurricular pay. There won't be any major changes involved there because the board approved some increases last year to help, well, to tell you the truth, try to push more people, especially in our own school district, for applying for some of those summer school positions, but that had already been accomplished last year. But that was also discussed quickly. Substitute pay, again, for teachers was also addressed primarily in the last year's budget, if I'm not mistaken on that. And so that was just a matter of reporting out. There's not any major increases there. Next item involves some finances that could come into play with the building of the athletic field. It was recommended to us by our city utility department that we take a look at the electrical situation that we have on the west side of the school right now. Transformers, wiring, some of the lines into the school over there. I believe all of those at this time are owned by the district. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. But they're, what, 30 years? How many years on?
At least plus 40 probably.
Okay. So this is kind of a forward-looking project where the utility committee said that if we put in a 4-inch conduit located with the electrical work and the boxes being put in for the athletic fields, that although not needed right now, this is one of those things that you kind of look ahead a little bit and say, as long as we're digging up everything and dealing with the electrical work and so on, it would behoove us probably at this point to put in a 4-inch conduit there that would allow us to add transformers and stuff that would replace, if that's my correct understanding, could replace
Correct.
some of the work that we have, some of the things that we have on the west side of the school district right now. That is still being discussed in terms of prices, who would do the work, and so on. But I think the Finance Committee has looked at this favorably, and we also discussed this with the Facilities Committee as well, and I think Mark and I are both on that committee. We talked about that it would be a good idea to be forward-looking again, should we have some major problem on the west side of the district. So we did have a report on that tonight as well. We have another item for approval. The Booster Bash is held every year to raise funds for the extracurricular and athletic programs at Marshfield School District. And one of the events that takes place every year is, I don't know, for maybe 6 or 7 years now, I think, 5 years or so, we've gone to a naming rights for the Marshfield field house in the past. It has been approved that the Bozen Company had received the winning bid, and once again, the Bozen Company bid $10,500 to have naming rights for our Marshfield field house. And so on behalf of the Finance Committee, I would like to move that forward tonight to accept the amount of $10,500 from the Bozen Company for naming rights to the Marshfield field house.
So we're approving the gift and the name?
No, just
Or-
the one-year naming rights.
I'm sorry.
Just the one-year naming.
Just the one-year naming rights.
We're approving the one-year naming rights. And that would name our field house the Bozen Company Field House.
Correct.
And do we have any discussion or questions? Okay. Then we will go ahead and take the roll.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
And not quite finally, but every well, I shouldn't say every, but 25% of the school districts, there are 420, 50, I think, say. Okay. School districts in the state. The Department of Public Instruction picks about 25% of schools every year to go through an annual, or to go through an audit. It wouldn't be an annual audit, but to go through an audit and check all of the enrollment figures. Now, the school district goes through an enrollment count at the end of September each year. Then there's another one that takes place in January. But this is quite an extensive report that the school district was asked to put together, required to put together by the state, and just to look through all of the different groups of people that we have within our school, types of students, and so on. It's quite a lengthy report put forward by the Hawkins Ash, our accounting service. And so I don't know if we have approval on that tonight, Pat. Do we have any approval there? No, it was just an item of discussion. It was informational only. And that report, full report, would be available here, I'm sure, at the central office if somebody wants to read it. It's long and it's very detailed. And the bottom line is the school district came out of it very, very well, again, with all accountability in terms of all reports that have been submitted to the state. And besides Pat, we've got Tacey Doyne, Ann Barlow, Aaron Anderson. Are some of the people here that work on those things every year, and I would also like to congratulate them on the hard work that they put into all this in completing some of those reports and doing that kind of enrollment work throughout the school district. Finally, we had the monthly variance report, which tells us where we are each month in terms of expenditures out based upon last year. And once again, it comes down to 1% or less than 1%, I believe, in terms of a variance, in terms of where we were last year. So everything looked good in terms of our variance report. Nothing there that was dramatic in terms of differences over last year. And that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. And I should have invited you to come sit here because
No.
I got to pass you this gavel.
Just throw it at me.
I do not want a chance missing.
Okay, so you have the curriculum report? Is that our next
Yes.
item? Okay.
The curriculum committee met on April 24th, and the first thing on the agenda was we reviewed the mental health consortium planning status on where they are with all of that and all the meetings they've had and the things they're doing. And Chris Crow, who is the principal director of North Star Academy in Cameron, Wisconsin, and the chair of the Coalition for Expanding School-Based Mental Health in Wisconsin, is the consultant that Tracy Keltz brought to the meeting, and the two of them gave us a presentation of all the things they've been doing to put in place, and some of the things that are still left to be done as far as how things would be financed and how referrals would be made and things like that. They also presented a draft memorandum of understanding and for the consortium. And so the new agreement was reviewed and we looked at that. The goal is to approve those MOUs in June with the providers so that they will have them in July. So we would review them in June. They would be able to get them in July and get board approval in August so that everything's in place for next school year. Then we went on to look at the travel for all the competitions our kids are involved in, and those will come up later in the meeting, so I won't go into that right now. Then we also reviewed the Family and Consumer Sciences curriculum, and you have that in board docs. And much like our Business and Information Tech curriculum, you will see that it has a lot of connections with the community, certifications that the kids can complete and prepare for. And then you can take a note in the syllabi. There's the budget page. But when you look at the budget page, it has the text that they need for classroom text. But Kim also in the Family and Consumer Sciences department gave us a little overview of some of the items that they use. I mean, they use all these things like, stoves and all the equipment, and Dale brought up asking about that so that we were apprised of how they go about replacing those items when they wear out. And so those are all budgeted, and you don't see that.
It actually is, Francis. It's under Family Consumer Science that says labs. It is on there.
Okay.
At the CNI, didn't think it was on there, but it's on there.
Okay.
So that total includes refrigerators, stoves,
All of
everything.
that. Okay, good. And as I said, I think you'll find that in the syllabi, the second of those two documents in board docs. So if you have a chance to look at that and get back to anyone on the committee or Kim with any questions or information. And then we had an update by Mike Drevlo on our technology, and the new iPads are here. So the staff devices will be issued prior to summer, and the student iPads will be issued when they return to school. The displays, we have displays on carts for the flexible classrooms, and those have been evaluated. And they will replace those Promethean boards that on the replacement cycle. The teacher sound systems, so these are the systems that they use. Those are also being evaluated for teachers who want to use them. The system is starting to become outdated and likely will be replaced with newer technology. And then we also, I'm going to skip over to Rural Virtual Academy recap. As you know, this was our first year to be an invested member, where we are kind of part of the group that has Rural Virtual Academy. It gives us a place at the table when decisions are made. And there were 48 students enrolled this year in the full-time coursework. And then we had 25 students enrolled in the District Connect RBA, which is more of a blended program. So they might be taking classes in our brick and mortar schools, but taking some online courses through RBA, District Connect. And then overall, the enrollment in our RBA program is up about 7 students overall. And we are down about 11 students who had over the numbers that had previously enrolled out of our district into virtual schools. So we're bringing the numbers enrolling out down, which is a good thing, and we're bringing the numbers enrolling here up. Then I'm going to go back to the business and information tech curriculum. We presented it last month, and again, it just has an incredible opportunity for students to get certifications, to really make a lot of
making the job ready. I mean, that's what I couldn't get over. Excuse me. I'm
yes.
sorry. No, I just looking at these 2 curriculums, both the family and the consumer sciences curriculum as well as the business and information technology curriculum. I am blown away by how well we are doing. It appears to me in preparing kids to have some skills available to get the job they need to get them through college or to do. I mean, it's just astounding. It's really, really outstanding.
Or to live on their own.
Yeah, and I would like to request if I could audit a few of the courses in the tech curriculum. I think my kids would really appreciate it. No, it's wonderful, and it's actually obviously there truly is knowledge there that I feel like I need to gather.
And they get a lot of real life experience.
Yeah,
different places in the community, like Marshfield Clinic Information Services, MCIS, et cetera, and they're actually in there learning.
Yeah, it's just so relevant and thorough. I'm so impressed with both of them.
So on behalf of the committee, I would like to ask the board to approve the business and information tech curriculum.
Okay, so before us tonight with approval of or recommendation of the curriculum committee, looking to move forward with the family and, the business and information technology curriculum. And we don't have to have another motion on that because it's on behalf of the committee.
Yes, it's on behalf of the committee.
So what else do we
So
need?
do we go?
Any further discussion? I guess I have to say that part too. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
Discussion? Mr. Eubanks?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Conrady? Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Dr. Pitwalla?
Yes. And that's it. Thank you. Next, we have Facility, Safety, and Transportation Committee. Mark?
Yes, and we did meet. First item of business was review the summer project. We've reviewed it the month prior in finance, we discussed it here. The roofs, and then there's some work on the chiller up at the high school on the cooling tower that they're gonna be working on. We moved into the athletic facilities update. Everything remains on budget and on schedule, with the expectations that the stadium will be completed and the baseball and softball fields will be seeded in August. Then the work come this fall, we'll be starting to work up here at the middle school. And if you have seen the pictures or been around there, you see that the bleachers are going in as we speak right now. So the students are working on the press box in the dugouts. That's coming along well. They're working with donors to meet the deadlines. Students are working, I get Douglas covered, but they're working with the donors to meet the deadlines. Administration continues to meet weekly with all the contractors. So, and the proposal on the 4-inch line, we had just discussed that with Dale. So I don't think there's any reason to get any further into that, other than we do know that I believe next month there'll be a little bit more if things do proceed with that. So, School Forest Lodge, the bid process was completed a year ago. An account for the project has been established and includes money from timber sales and donors. Currently, the project budget is short, approximately $10,000 to $15,000. Fundraising efforts are going on as we speak, and hopefully we'll raise enough money that we can rebid this project. We had talked about the HSR study and the long-range facility needs. There's a lot of things that we've done already outside of the HSR study as part of like the athletic fields and everything. So we wanted to relook this, see where we are with the HSR study, and where do we want to go? Where is our future here? So we kind of discussed it with administration. Administration is going to take it on, take a look at it with the staff, where they're at right now, where they want to go, and they're going to bring back some suggestions to us so we can bring them forward to the rest of the board. But the long-range study is a very good item. As we said here, we wrapped up with the last one a couple years ago as we finished up with the middle school, and that was a long-range study. That's where Washington and Madison had come in. So now looking at this long-range study now and seeing where we need to go and getting it set in its basis. So that's about all we had.
I have a question about the school forest. You mentioned the shortfall and being able to do the updates there. So who is spearheading the fundraising for that? Do you know?
Ron, can you help me with
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. Mr. Z, Mark Z, is the school force coordinator.
Oh, okay.
He's the
Okay,
assistant. He's kind of the
okay. This is the first I'd heard of it, so I thought I'd ask. So everyone's aware of that.
Okay.
On the conduit that was mentioned, possibly going along the athletic or the stadium, I'm assuming. Is it fair to say that expense is small compared to the down the road expense where we replace the wiring and
absolutely.
transformers and all?
Yes.
And it would just be less expensive to do that now to get it laid while the ground is
Yes.
turned
What
over.
this does is that they're coming in along the parking lot right now. I'm going to be sending a transformer. This could be a future extension coming around to help feed the high school. Right now, we've got primary back there and the transformers that the school system owns. If something would happen, this gives us and the power company an alternate route to refeed everything. Plus, in the future, as we're looking forward to this, if we don't stay with the primary metering and we go with just the power company, you owning the transformers and the cables, it gives them a route to refeed everything, which is cheaper for us because we would have to pay for the extension anyways. So in the long run, If we gotta pay for the extension, it's gonna be quite a bit more than what it is right now because things are tore up. So if it can get put in now, now's the time to do it.
And I'm assuming it would also save time if anything did go wrong and they had to move
Absolutely.
quickly.
Yes.
Anything else? Any more questions? Then we will go on to I'm sorry. Then we go on to policy. And Karen, children, Dr.
Apparently so. Phyllis Leader is not with us tonight again. All right, policy met, and the new business, we're attacking all the student handbooks, elementary, middle, and high school. We took the middle and high school first, and that's being presented later as action items, because they have to go to print. Elementary is being brought forward as a first reading today. They've been gone over with a fine tooth comb. Whoever did the table of contents rework is fabulous thing, by the way. It looks very easy to read.
I thought it made sense.
There is one thing I found when I was reviewing this, the items that are up for evaluation today. We did make a change in all three handbooks in the dress code that head coverings may be approved for religious or medical reasons. And this is semantics, but it seems very significant to me. In the elementary and the high school handbook, it says exceptions will be provided, and in the middle school, it says exceptions may be provided. I recommend or move that we actually make those all the same, and I would go with the word may rather than will. I think most of the time, and in almost all cases, it would be approved. It's not like a promise. You never know what could come forward. So that will be a friendly amendment to the motion later, I suppose, is how I would do that. Okay. So a lot of the meeting, we were just going through those handbooks and making some changes, and you guys have had them to review. We did have a good discussion on the policies related to cell phone use. Previous meeting, we had tasked the high school administration to put together sort of a task force group to get feedback about how the teachers feel about it, how the students feel about cell phone use. Is it a problem? Where are the problems? What are the recommendations? And the recommendations came back that we should probably consider revisions to the student handbook and crack down on the use of PCDs during instructional times effective this coming school year. We're working on the communication plan. We would like to get this new information in front of people early and often, so everybody sort of can get used to the idea and it'll be disseminated. Can I go through the pertinent part of what the email had in it? We're just working on the wording of the updated policy, but there's been probably the most relevant language in the big part that we're working at is PCD should be powered off and stored in students' lockers during educational time, so the PCD is out of sight and not a distraction to any learner. The use of PCDs in the educational setting is strictly prohibited. This includes, but not limited to, prior to class starting and throughout the entire class period. Students who fail to follow the PCD expectations will be required to turn over the PCD to any MHS staff member or substitute. All confiscated PCDs will be turned over to administration front office. And then there will be other caveats for repeat offenses, et cetera, et cetera. So the goal, there was a lot of discussion about that we already had a policy, but it wasn't being enforced. So I think we're mostly just beefing up language, trying to get education out that this is an important part of keeping distractions out of the educational environment. They'll be using it before school, after school, lunch hour, breaks, wherever, just from the time you hit the door to the time you leave the classroom. We want to minimize the distractions. Leaving them in the lockers is sort of out of pocket, out of mind. If you just know you can't reach it, you know you don't have to think about it. So that's the intent, is to help refocus attention on what's going on in the classroom. And we are understanding that this is a bit of a culture shift and a paradigm shift, so we're hoping to be open to concerns, discussions as we go forward. That's why we wanted to bring it up today, so that we can just let people know that this is coming down the pipe.
And we'll have a review in November. There'll be a review of the effectiveness of the policy in November was our first
We
date
will
that
be
we thought.
we'd ask them to bring it back
Yeah.
while it has rolled out,
Yeah.
where the concerns are, where the problems are, in November, and do another presentation to the committee.
A two-part question for
Sure.
you. One, this is what staff recommendations are, is what they would like to see in the schools.
There were some mixed stuff because it was acknowledged that some staff actually use the cell phones, and yes, I can't even remember if there was a carved out, it's up to the teacher.
Is Jason?
There were
Jason
staff,
was here.
Yeah, yeah.
There is.
Yeah. I'm sorry?
there were staff participants on
There were
on the
staff,
task
yeah.
force.
There
that
was
reviewed
staff
it.
and students, and this was sort of the consensus that they came to. Yeah, staff and students, yeah.
If the teacher so chooses to want these in their classroom, are they allowed to have their students have their PCDs in their classroom? Because I know on the tech ed side, when we had a meeting here quite a while ago, big conversation between the teachers and the businesses in Marshfield was on how do you want us to handle the cell phones? What I kind of come out of the end of the meeting was the businesses were saying we want the kids to use their cell phones for information highway. So I'm just kind of wondering, if the teachers would like to have it in their classroom, especially on tech ed, if they want it, is it going to be allowed?
Well, I guess it would have to be determined whether that was part of the learning curriculum, if that's part of what is being taught and how to make that function, but I
Can
don't
you
know.
give an
how that-
example of an instance in the tech ed program
If
in
they're
which
working-
if they're out on the site?
If they're working on something, that they can bring it up and have information, especially in the automotive end, I mean, it becomes a tool. If I'm working on that 1999 Ford Explorer, I want to know something about the air cleaner. Boop, 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 there it is. And this is where the businesses in Marshfield want these tools to be used, as a tool, and they don't want to discourage it from a tool.
So these students are doing work, like, as part of an internship at a business? Is that?
Well, what it was a meeting between the tech ed side here and the businesses of the surrounding area. It will give the teachers time to interact with the businesses to find out, what do you want us, different things the way that they want to teach, and how you want us to go with our students, so that we can prepare them for the workforce.
I see, okay.
So, right.
So,
That's, because I think that part of our discussion in general was that we've provided a screen for every student in the district to gain that information. And so in terms of the educational setting at the school, we were suggesting that we already have a screen and there's just so many opportunities for distraction with the cell phone because there's less control over the cell phone, whereas we do have a screen opportunity, an internet opportunity for every student in the school, in the district, with the iPads. So that's kind of the rationale behind it. If there is a specific situation in which, what I'm concerned about is that we're making sure that it's the internet access, it's getting that information regardless of the device. So those students certainly can gain the information that they need if businesses are saying, hey, we need to be coordinating to get the up-to-date spec on this engine that we're building or repairing, and I really barely know the language to say it in the tech ed world, but that type of thing is available through the iPad use.
unless they're off-site somewhere away from Wi-Fi, and
Right.
it's more the situation that we're
I guess
trying
I'd
to.
And is that
like
what
to-
you're talking about?
I'd
If
like
they're-
to see
they're
something in
off-site?
there,
Yeah.
that if the teacher would like to have their cell phone in the classroom, that the teacher would go ahead and allow it. I mean, I can understand the restriction, but if they want it, why not let them have it?
Well, that's the language that was present before, and that's sort of what we're reacting to because it became a problem. It has become a problem. So we were trying to eliminate that language, so that there was a little bit more teeth in the policy, so that we can gain some control. Because in the classroom, if you're talking about situations in the classroom, students have access to internet and can get all the information they need through the classroom, the district provided iPad. If they are doing an internship with a business that is off-site, that's not in a classroom. And whatever that business is doing to help the student learn the craft or the skill or the discipline of that business, if it requires the use of a cell phone while they're doing their internship with that company, then that would certainly make sense.
There will need to be some rewording because it says it is strictly
Yeah.
prohibited in
We
the
say-
educational setting, which could extend outside of the.
So if we need to tweak that to,
We can bring this back
Yeah.
to committee this month and really work on the
well, we need to
language.
also talk, I mean,
Because you need to have this.
because of printing, yeah.
This, yeah, we would like to get this printed. I mean, this
Yeah.
this email version is not even what we saw at committee last night.
Right.
It had been changed, so we'll have to bring it back to
Yeah.
committee and try to hammer out. And this isn't an action item tonight necessarily either.
Is the high school handbook,
It's going into the high school handbook, that is
yes,
correct.
it is in there. I'm looking at what we are going to have, and are we not doing an action item? Yeah, that is an action item tonight. And I'm looking at that, and we do indeed have that language in it right now. The use of PCDs in the educational setting is strictly prohibited.
Correct.
Mhm.
We don't
Right.
extend into.
Right. I think we can, I, in the educational setting,
Is there an option for a teacher that really thought it was absolutely necessary within their class or their curriculum that
If
they
you look at the
needed
following
kids to
sentence.
use their phones?
let's look at the following sentence. It says, "This includes but not limited to, prior to class starting, throughout the entire class period."
Yeah, that means
So-
you're not allowed to use it for that.
That's implying the classroom.
An educational setting allows us to enforce it on a field trip.
Right.
Things like
Yeah.
that, but we would not be enforcing it at an internship setting.
Right, because internship is not a class period. I mean, well. Is that okay? Okay.
And if they
That's
came
right.
back and if there was a confusion, I'm sure it could come back to the board at any time and,
Yeah.
Right,
right?
yes,
Yeah, it wouldn't be,
that might be the better way to
There
go.
probably is,
I believe the language will allow for what you're discussing.
would allow
what
for
you're
rational
concerned about.
decision
Yes.
making down the
Yeah.
line. That's good discussion to have. Any
I have
other-
to admit, I'm confused at
About,
this point as to whether we're going to allow them in a classroom or not allow them in the classroom, or what the exceptions will be for using them in a classroom or whatever. So I look
Right.
forward to whatever further discussion you have. And
no, we have to, we're voting on.
We're voting on it
This is
tonight.
going, these have to go to print. So right now, it is, they're to be out of sight and not a distraction to any learner in any classroom.
In the classroom.
One more.
That's how it's written.
Probably for you, Ryan. In the event of a bad situation going on in any of the schools, and their cell phones are locked in their lockers, does it put us up against any issues that we're not allowing them to communicate? And would that put us in any legalities?
That I brought up too, because then it says should. PCDs should be powered off and stored in students' lockers. It does not say must be, and I think that gave allowance for some kids whose parents really want them to have their phones at all times, to have them with them. They just cannot be seen, cannot be heard.
Right.
And Ryan, I don't know, do you want to speak to this?
And that was
issue?
the intent of writing should.
I think the main question you're asking is, are there any legality issues, concerns, or liabilities? I would say no, not in that situation. But as they're indicating, the committee members are indicating, they did talk in terms of, we're not going to, kids will still have them on their possession with the expectation that they're turned off and not being used.
And actually, if you are following the national discussion of safety and issues of safety in an emergency such as, unfortunately, what was just, it just occurred in Colorado again, safety experts suggest that actually student cell phone use in the immediate emergency is actually putting the student in a more dangerous situation, because their attention is on the 4-by-inch screen and talking to mom or dad, who really have no impact on the safety of the child at the time of the emergency, and it is best for the students to not be communicating with their families as they are trying to control the emergency situation. It's better for the students if they are in a situation of needing to know where to go to get out of the way out of harm's way, they need to be paying attention to this person that's speaking to them in their classroom and not using their cell phone to talk to mom and dad. The other example that I read about was when students are exiting a building, if there is an emergency situation, they're supposed to have their hands up so that they are clearly not the one holding the gun. And it could be, this was a safety officer who suggested that the student's hand that isn't up there, that may be down here with a cell phone, could be misinterpreted as someone with a weapon. And so it's, we had this situation recently, it was just this spring, and I was in Madison, and I got the alert that there was a problem, and there was a weapon near the high school. And that was scary as all get out, but I sure as heck didn't want to be hearing from my son at that point. I wanted to make sure that at that emergency situation that he was doing what he needed to do, and thank God that was the case, that he was listening, because he was supposed to he had ninth period off, and he was headed to the very location of the weapon when the lockdown occurred. That was what so I was really glad that he was paying close attention to what he needed to be doing, because he would have walked right into the situation, probably, yards away from where the weapon was. So it's important for us to really think about what we're doing with suggesting that our students should be calling mom and dad during an emergency situation.
Was there concern about anything else in the policy that was emailed to everybody? I think the spirit of this is we need to try something, we need to tighten up control. Hopefully this will improve attention, performance, and we'd just like to see if it helps diminish how much time some teachers are having to spend reorienting, directing kids and who are staring at their navels every so often. With the understanding of everybody needs access.
And it's a start. This is just a start. We're going to see how it goes, and we'll have an evaluation, about the rollout soon after the school year starts, as soon after we've implemented it.
And you had a lot of input.
We did.
A lot of input,
yeah.
and in full disclosure, we heard everything from, do we just have them drop them in pouches when they walk into school in the morning and don't look at them for the whole day, to just have them have free reign. We thought this was about right for this community and the culture of Marshfield right now as a little step forward. So that was the big one. Future agenda items, yeah, we're just going to work through more policies. And then we will see the cell phone fallout and repercussions and benefits, hopefully again in November. So, back to, I would like to, on behalf of the policy committee, ask for approval of the middle. Do I have to do them separate, or can we do them together?
You want to do them separately, especially with the other piece you brought up,
Right.
the amendment.
Of the middle school student handbook. I bring that on behalf of the committee.
We have a motion on the floor on behalf of the policy committee to approve the middle school handbook for 2019-2020. And any discussion? I should have gotten these to you before now, but I did have a few things.
Okay.
And they're just editorial. Page 23, the bullying section. I'm sorry, I can't get to the word. And this also is in the other two handbooks, so I'll just say it once. Get to 23. Okay, in the bullying section, in the red part, it says, bullying behavior rises to the level of harassment when the prohibited conduct is based upon the student's sex, and then in parentheses, that includes transgender status, change of sex, gender identity, etc. Then race, color, national origin, religion, creed, ancestry, marital or parental status. This is the section. Sexual orientation and physical, mental, emotional, or learning disabilities. So I'm assuming that the 3 words sexual orientation of need to come out. Does that make sense?
We had actually edited that out. Thank you for finding that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
We had removed that, and I thank you for finding that.
Okay, and it's
That
in,
was supposed.
it's in
Yes.
all 3.
Yes, that
It's
was
in-
supposed to have been.
It's in the
Yeah.
elementary, in the middle school, and the high school one. So all 3 need to be changed. Just
Yep.
those 3 words.
Sexual orientation of.
Correct, because
Well-
that's all addressed previously. So really, I'm
Yeah.
assuming you
Yeah,
just
that
want
was-
comma, physical,
Right.
mental, emotional, or
Yeah.
learning disability.
Exactly.
Yeah, we had,
Okay.
we had taken that out.
Okay, so that was in all 3. And then a couple of pages later, on the locker policy, you added open and closed in a respectful manner, and all the other bullet points have the word locker in there, so I thought maybe it should say open and closed lockers in a respectful manner. And then it's consistent with the other bullet points. So it's kind of minor, but editorials, I said.
I have no problem with making it.
Huh?
I have no problem with making that change.
And then page 28, a couple of pages later. Okay, this is on that personalized learning device thing. And this also, I think, is in all 3 of them. Where it says, okay, the first paragraph in the red section. The last sentence, students will also develop the digital literacy and citizenship skills that are essential to graduate college and career ready.
Be career ready.
You
How
could
did
either
we
put
miss
be, or you could just say essential for college and career readiness. Either way.
I think college and career readiness reads better. Better essential to college and career, essential for college and career
Just
readiness.
I am not finding where you are.
I'm on
Which paragraph?
Page 28.
Page 28. Okay.
28 of the handbook.
Yep.
First
uh-huh.
red paragraph.
And the
First
first
paragraph.
full
Oh, there we go.
paragraph.
Oh, there we go.
on
Sure,
personalized
sure,
learning
yeah.
devices,
That are
the last
essential
sentence of the first paragraph.
That's what I brought up at policy.
To-
Were you were there?
Oh, yes, no.
All the white things are still in there.
Right.
Yep.
Well, they're,
Okay.
Just not, yeah.
Okay.
they're not all
I
in
did
there.
it in the elementary and I forgot.
Yes,
to
I was
mention
going to
it.
say,
Okay,
they're gone
okay.
from the elementary, but they're in the middle
Yeah,
and
okay,
high
okay.
school one.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Thanks.
anyway, and that's it. So the lightning is the only other one, and that's on page 29.
So what did you want the to read then? Essential to,
That are essential, what did you come up with?
To college and career readiness.
so take out graduate?
Take out, essential to take out graduate, and then
It's graduate, it's not graduate.
Yeah.
graduate, yes, take out- that's right.
Graduate.
I think it's implying that you
Essential
graduate
to
from Marshfield High School.
So maybe it's
college,
graduate,
career
okay,
ready.
graduate,
Graduation,
comma,
and college.
and college and career
No,
readiness.
No, to graduate college.
It's-
Whereas
take it
we're
out.
gonna back it up to, you're just ready to go to college. right?
To graduate, comma,
Essential to graduate college and career ready.
college and career, okay, graduate, comma,
Yeah.
college and career
It
ready.
makes sense
Is
the way
this
it
word-
is. It's just
Okay,
people-
just one thing also to clarify is this wording, and I'm guessing is coming verbatim from the other handbook, correct?
Yes.
Or
I would have to double check that, but it's.
The high school.
Everyone
I
knows
think
it,
the
so it's gonna
skill-
have
the
to,
skills are essential to graduate college, and to me, it'd be career ready.
well, we're saying to graduate high school. Is
Graduate high
is
school,
that not
college,
correct?
and
We're
career
referring to,
Yeah.
to graduating from, to
Essential
graduate from high school.
college and
career ready.
That's how you want to
Oh,
graduate.
to
You want to
graduate.
college and career ready.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what it
Thank
says.
you.
It's not
Yes.
wrong.
It's not
Thank you.
really technically
No,
wrong
that
the way
made
it's
sense.
intended
No,
to work.
Yeah,
Right.
I think everyone was just reading it.
We could say.
You could explain
yes.
it a little further by saying essential to graduate from the Marshfield
High
Public
school.
Schools.
I would say
College and
graduate
career
from,
ready.
if it could,
And
it honestly just
graduate
for
and then
flow.
from
I don't know.
ESTOM,
You would think.
Yeah. To
college and
graduate,
career ready.
to graduate from high school
And be college.
and be college and career ready. How about that? Or with college and career readiness.
I mean, I'm with module, I'm fine with it now that I.
Okay, or just-
I have to read
Any,
it.
any.
Just put a comment. I mean, it's okay with a comment and it's a little bit awkward, but that's good.
Yeah, it is language.
Yeah, just leave it.
Just makes it easier. We got all those other changes.
But we've had other ones, yeah. I'm surprised.
That was it.
Did you find, and nothing else? Okay. All right, so that is the middle school, right?
Yes.
Okay, and that's the one that already says May, so I'm happy with that. All right, so with those amendments, I'm okay with those. Any other discussion about those?
No, it's-
So should we?
Shall we vote on the middle school handbook?
Yes. Can we?
Mayor in charge.
We've got.
So technically, we could entertain a motion to
You
amend.
have the motion.
So I
have the
am, I'm
motion.
moving,
We already have
I'll
a
move
motion to amend?
with those amendments
Okay,
to,
that sounds fine.
that we can move ahead with voting.
Okay.
Do we need to do a separate amendment motion and then? No, okay.
Amendment motion. Okay.
Then any other discussion? We'll go ahead. Take the roll.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
I'd also like to bring forward on behalf of the policy committee, the high school student handbook for approval. My amendment to that would be to change the word will to may, and under the
Head covering.
Headwear.
head cover, which apparently is in section, I know we found it in here somewhere.
Page 24.
Yes,
Page
dressing
24.
grooming.
On page 24.
Did you find more in there as well, Francis? Or just the ones that were the same in all of them?
Well, no, I have 3 others.
So,
Okay.
was it on 24?
In the
It
letter
should-
No,
at the
25.
beginning,
Dressing grooming, yeah.
the letter at the beginning of the handbook, the second page, it's the last paragraph, just that first sentence. If you read that, I think it's supposed to be 2 or 3 sentences, not one.
The first sentence of the last paragraph.
We are proud to
To
support.
order students to the MTSS framework and their industry practices. Or to get rid of the word is,
Well,
to ensure that all students in the high
Yeah.
school are provided with high-quality instruction that is evidence-based within a supportive environment, ensuring the students' academic and behavioral needs are not only met but promote growth within the learning environment. It's a long sentence, I see what you're saying.
well, and also I couldn't tell what the subject was for the is.
Yeah, the is has to go in
That is definitely, yes, yeah. We're proud, so it's like, we're proud to support our students, to ensure that all students in the high
The
school.
MTSS framework, maybe period
ensure.
there, and then.
Take
We're
out the
proud
is.
to ensuring, yeah, you're right, it's not like.
We
a
are
list.
proud to support, to ensure.
Can you quickly wordsmith that for us, Dr. Sewell?
Proud to support students.
These two have gifts.
Yeah, I mean, the awkward thing is the MTSS framework and embedded and best
Yeah.
practice are doing this, are colliding with each other and being
Yeah.
modifiers to the first part.
Right.
I don't, we just put those together and say we are proud to support our students through the MTSS framework.
So as to ensure.
Which is embedded in best practice to ensure that all students.
Right.
Which is embedded in best practice.
Or you could take out the embedded in best practice and try to introduce it in another sentence,
I would
because
lean
there's
towards
just
that.
too much going on there. I
And-
think if you take that out, it's gonna be a much better sentence.
Yeah.
Take out embedded best,
Yes.
yes, that would be great.
So
And then you still don't,
And
you still
then-
can't have is, because you
No.
have, we are proud.
We take out is
We're
and
proud to
put
support our students through the MTSS framework to ensure that all students.
so as to ensure,
Right. Take out the is also.
take out the is and the investment framework, so as to ensure that all students,
Or ensuring,
or ensuring that all.
ensuring that all students are provided with instruction that's evidence-based. And then it comes back to ensuring again.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
How about we just put a period? And
yeah,
then
yeah.
by,
Or you can say
by
all-
using best practices, we
Yeah.
ensure that
Yes.
students' academic and behavioral needs are not only met,
That's fine.
that growth is promoted within the learning environment.
Yeah, so end of the first sentence with a period after environment. And then you bring, you want to read what you said again, so Jenny can get it.
Where was it again? Where are we?
You're just gonna put the best practice in
Um,
the beginning of the next sentence. So, using best
Within a
practice.
supportive environment,
Can I
period.
suggest that we?
Using best practices, we ensure that students' academic
Yeah.
and behavioral needs are not only met.
Okay, good.
Do you have it?
But we also promote growth
Or you
within
could just email
the
it.
learning.
Yeah, I wonder if we could just, this is just sort of grammatical churning, can we do that?
Yeah.
By email?
I can do that.
So I-
So
I-
somebody
I-
writes
we'll- we'll- we'll-
Okay,
So-
Kajal's gonna rework
Yeah.
and, you know.
I just thought
And I trust
very
her.
long sentence.
Yep.
I
I
totally
just
lost her somewhere.
Just didn't think, I don't think we thought.
We had a whole lot that we were doing with
Welcome
these, and
message.
I totally, I just skimmed through that. I figured.
And
that was-
then-
yeah, this is why we have to have review, yeah.
And then we will be losing Mr. Ragland, and his name is on there, so.
Oh, I thought that had been.
And then the one other thing is page 5. So we have,
Could just say TBA, but, or just remove it altogether. But
so
good point. Either put down TBA in place of his
Right.
name,
Right.
or take that reference out altogether.
Right. And then on page 5, so of the handbook, if you notice in the table of contents, a number of the items have asterisks, but there's no asterisks to tell us what those asterisks mean at the bottom of page 5. But there is in the middle school handbook. It just wasn't in the elementary or high school. So in the middle school handbook, at the bottom of the table of contents, the asterisk is see related school board policies.
Yeah,
So-
that's what it says for the harassment policy and the bullying policy with the asterisk.
Right,
It
so
refers
we,
to the
I
So it
think
should
we
be
just
added in.
need
The reason the
to.
asterisk is in the table of contents is because of the way the title is carried into the table of contents.
And it is
In the
in the body of
handbook
the.
itself, the title of the section has an asterisk, which is described below, in the body of the handbook.
We should
Can we
remove
just
the
get rid of all
asterisks.
the
asterisk
asterisks
from-
from the table of contents?
Just remove them from the table of contents because they're all within the body of the handbook.
Right, but you don't know why there's an asterisk.
We
there.
should take it off of
Oh,
the
oh,
table of
okay.
contents.
Well, that's what I'm
It
saying, if we just
shouldn't
took
be
them
in
out of the table of contents, when you got to that
Yeah.
part, it would have an
Okay.
asterisk
Yeah,
in
we'll
the
just
body.
remove them from the
Okay.
table of contents because it is
Okay, that sounds
denoted
fine
in
too.
the
That
body of
explains
the.
why
And the
they're-
middle school still has that at the bottom, the see
Oh.
related school board policy.
We'll fix
Then you
it.
can
We'll
just
either
leave
put a
that.
disclaimer at the bottom or.
That sounds
Or
fine.
get rid of the asterisk, one or the
Okay.
other.
That sounds good. That's it.
Brilliant.
And then just the same things that we talked about in the middle school one. Okay.
Exactly. All right, so with those friendly amendments, do I move again that we, I'm asking for approval for the high school student handbook?
So we have a motion on the floor on behalf of the committee to approve the high school handbook with the changes that were discussed. Any other discussion? Then we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan,
Yes.
Dr. Schulman,
Yes.
Dr. Sidwala,
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis,
Sure,
Mrs.
yes.
Steiner.
Yes.
Anything else, Karen?
That's enough for us, isn't it?
Yes.
Then we will go on to employee relations. Dave?
Okay, we have more handbooks. Second reading tonight, so this will be for approval to approve on behalf of the Employee Relations Committee, which right now consists of myself and Sam Steiner, since Amber Lifelight was the chair. On behalf of our Employee Relations Committee, we would like to recommend the approval of the substitute staff handbook.
So,
We'll get to that.
so we have a motion on behalf of the committee to approve the substitute teacher handbook. Any questions, discussion? And we'll go ahead and take the substitute staff handbook, I should say.
Mrs. Bohan,
Yes.
Dr. Schulman,
Yes.
Dr. Sidwala,
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis,
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner,
Yes.
Mr. Conrady.
Yes.
Okay, part two. Approval of the extended duty coach advisor summer school other appointed staff member handbook. That's also over second reading, so that is an action item as well. So on behalf of our Employee Relations Committee, I would like to approve that handbook for those positions as listed on the agenda.
Thank you. So on behalf of the committee, we have a motion to approve the extended duty coach advisor summer school and other appointed staff handbook. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Dr. Schulman,
Yes.
Dr. Sidwala,
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis,
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner,
Yes.
Mr. Conrady,
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan.
Yes.
Okay. Staff evaluation consultant contract. This is a position that Dave Shepke has held with the district. And basically, I think what we're looking here is to renew his contract for the staff evaluation consultant contract. That involves teacher effectiveness training that we are mandated, basically, to have within our district. Want me to restate that?
No, I
No?
think it would
No.
just be worth noting that
On
we,
behalf of the committee to approve that staff evaluation.
Right.
Okay. So the one in board docs is from this current year, but you're, on behalf of the committee, you're asking us to approve the staff evaluation consultant contract for next year, for 2019.
Right, and this
2020.
basically lists the duties that that consultant should perform.
Any discussion? Then we'll go ahead and take the roll.
Dr. Sidwala,
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis.
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner.
Yes.
Mr. Conrady.
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan.
Yes.
Dr. Schulman.
Yes.
It's not listed specifically here as an action item. Is the contract renewal for professional staff, is that considered an action item tonight?
It is, yes.
Okay, on behalf of our Employee Relations Committee then, I would move forward with the approval of the contract renewal for all professional staff in our district.
So we have a motion to approve the 2019-2020 contract for professional staff. Any discussion? And seeing none.
Mr. Yekitis.
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner.
Yes.
Mr. Conrady.
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan.
Yes.
Dr. Schulman.
Yes.
Dr. Sidwala.
Yes.
That's all, folks.
Personnel report.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, and you reminded me of that before, too. I was going to save that, I was going to save that for last. Here we
And
go.
these will require a motion.
Yes, they will. Okay, first of all, approval of resignations. The employee is Linda Hammond, Library Media Specialist, and I would ask for the approval, this would be on behalf of our committee as
Yeah.
well,
You need to make a motion because
It's not on behalf of the
it's not
committee.
on behalf
Okay,
of
It's first
all right,
coming.
because we had discussed that. All right, so I would make a motion that we accept the resignation of Linda Allen,
I second.
Library Media Specialist.
I second.
Is there a second?
I just did. That's the
Same
same.
second.
Jump
Any discussion? Then we'll go ahead and take the roll.
Mrs. Steiner?
in. Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes. I would make a motion also for the approval of the contracts for Luke Bailey, teacher technology education instructor for the middle school, Jenna Walsh, teacher special ed specialized program coordinator at Madison School, and Jane Law, a counselor in the alcohol and other drug abuse coordinator position. So I would make a motion to approve those.
3. Is there a second?
Sam
Sam
Steiner,
second.
second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll take the roll.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman? Yes. Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
And finally, after an extensive interview process of a number of candidates, there was a position that's open, is a position that was open at the high school for assistant principal. And I would come forward with the motion of approval of Jamie DeFelice as the assistant principal at the high school, who will be replacing Dave Regman, who will be retiring.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Karen Schulman.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Then we'll take the roll.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes. Okay,
Moving right along.
thank you.
Yep.
We're after at 9 o'clock time that you said pizza would be coming.
No.
Favorite meetings went after 9 o'clock.
Oh, I think it's going to have cranberries on top. I think Mark is going to supply that.
We will move on to new business. We have CISA 5 Annual Convention coming up May 16th, 2019, and we are looking to see if there's anyone who would be willing to represent us at the CISA 5 meeting. Do I have a volunteer?
Can't get to Portage by that time of the, can't.
Even if someone is unable to attend, we just need to have a name.
We need to submit a representative, yeah, on behalf of the district.
So even if they can't attend,
Right.
We have to submit somebody.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do that, sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you so much. So, having, with your gracious offer, putting your name in there, do I have a motion to appoint Sam Steiner as representative to the CISA 5 Annual Convention on
So
May
moved.
16th? Thank you, Dale. In a second?
Second.
Second, okay.
Does that need to be in motion?
I was
It's
kind of
not an
wondering about
action
that.
item.
Oh, no, it is an action item.
It's just an appointment.
Yeah.
So we don't have to do.
And we'll, if there's a consensus, as long as we're all consenting to put Sam on. Okay, thank you very much. Then we will go on to approval of the open enrollment applications. And those are in board docs, and we have two different lists, actually. One for students open enrolling into our district. And do I have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Thank you, Mark. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Dale. Any discussion? Then we'll go ahead and take the roll.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes. And then we have another list of those open enrolling out of the
Oh, that was
district.
just for the inns?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was just for the inns? Okay.
So then we go to the outs. Okay.
Okay.
I motion, I
moving to,
Move that we approve the-
to
that the
approve
students
the
going
open
out.
enrollments out of the district. And is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mark. Any discussion? Then we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Okay. Then we have approval of resolution for 66.03 consortium agreements for Project Search students. And I hope you had a chance to look at that. Do we have a motion concerning that? There are 3 different ones. Do we do them
You can do
separately?
them together.
They can do them all in one, yeah.
But why don't we combine them if someone wants to make a motion for
So
all
moved.
3? Thank you, Mark. And is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dave. So the motion is to approve the contracts for all 3 towns listed, which would be Neilsville, Spencer, and Stratford for the Project Search students. Any discussion? Then we'll go ahead and take a vote.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yeah.
Okay, then we have a number of trips, and this is always exciting to see all the things our students are involved in and go and compete in. And the first is travel to Scotland, England, and Ireland for the International Dairy Judging Trip and associated tours, and that's in June of this year. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Thank you. Kajal.
Second.
And Sam. Okay,
And Sam, second.
then we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
So this is one student and one chaperone.
And then the next one is for travel to Orlando, Florida for the Microsoft Office Specialist Nationals competition in June. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Ron. Any discussion? Then we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Then the next one is a trip for the HOSA Leadership Conference, and that is in Orlando also for the Health Professionals International Leadership Conference in June. Is
Move
there
to
a motion
approve.
to approve?
Second.
Thank you. And any discussion? Then we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
And the last one is travel to Anaheim, California for the FCC LA National Competition in June. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank
I'll
you.
second this time.
And Dale, thank you. And any discussion? And we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes. Then that concludes the business on the agenda, and is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Okay.
Nice, a second from Sam.
What, Karen, you were first.
And same.
Yes.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.